I'm telling you, that sound, it's simply too good.
I gotta figure out how to make money on this thing. It's simply too good.
Talk about self-sabotage. If I keep quoting that show, I might sabotage my relationship. She's like, not again, please, not again. What's up, guys? Clark here, and I've been excited to talk about this concept with you for a while now. It's just sat in my drafts, and I'm like, this is the day we're busting it out. We're putting the teacher hat on, and class is in session with the charts, all right? So I want to talk about a concept that's affecting you right now, whether you know it or not. Picture that you're in a car and you're giving it gas. It's just not moving though. And maybe it moves a little bit, but it's making all these noises. It's a struggle getting that thing going. And you're thinking to yourself,
fuck! They're trying to make it look fake!
If only I knew what was wrong with this, I could get to where I wanted to go in no time. You look down and your parking brake was on. So while you were trying to gas it, something was holding it back. Now that analogy is a real easy way to understand self-sabotage and how it shows up in our lives. Yours, mine, everyone you know. Let's all get on the same page here. What is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is where some bad things happen and then you panic and you do really good and you lock in for a few weeks. And then, you're off another 3 weeks. And this oscillation nets you out to zero. I mean, relate this to yourself. Has this ever happened to you?
Has this ever happened to you?
We have successfully turned a deep concept into brain rot. Easy ones for you to understand would be calories. You can be really locked in for a few days and then just blow it when you get the Uber Eats 40% off coupon. Money's another easy example here where you're doing really good, you're saving a lot, you're earning a lot. Maybe you find yourself one-click purchasing items you don't need and you look at your bank account, it's netting out to the same number. Self-sabotage can be as simple as, yeah, I spend money because I wanted it, but it can also be really deep of what we're working with here. Like it can be you don't even realize it, but you're finding a way to get rid of all your money because you have guilt and shame around how you're making it, or you feel like you don't deserve it, or you've seen throughout your childhood people tear down successful people, and so you associate success with negativity and criticism. Maybe your family was really critical of the evil 1%, the rich, the greedy, they're terrible. All of those things seep in your subconscious, and now when it's your turn to make money, you're like, well, I'm not evil, so I gotta get rid of it. That's self-sabotage at the deepest level. Or it's someone who's in a relationship, and their soul is saying this ain't right. And so they find a way to sabotage it. Everything is an argument, or maybe they even go out and they cheat on them, hoping that they get caught so it ends it because they don't have the courage to break it off. Self-sabotage can be as light and simple as locking in a few habits, or as deeply rooted as childhood or traumas. And it can be both, all right? I don't wanna give the impression here that self-sabotage is always this something happened to me at 10 years old and now I'm never the same and I gotta undig and do years of healing and retreats and blast off with ayahuasca in a jungle just to feel normal. The clockwork elves told me it was all good and the praying mantis said you can be free from your childhood now. The good news, guys, is no matter how light or how heavy it is, the roots are the same here. It's gonna follow 4 basic patterns of how it's showing up in your life, and then you can ask some questions to help you resolve it, all right? The first way you self-sabotage in your life, fleeing. You're gonna flee from it. This is escapism. Easiest to understand, probably the most common. I know you struggle with this at some point in your life, maybe currently, maybe in the past. This can be avoiding situations or conversations, fleeing from your emotions, fleeing from people. You don't want to talk to them because it's gonna, I'm just gonna avoid that. Or fleeing from yourself. This is where we hide out. A lot of times this fleeing, the way you self-sabotage yourself that's probably relatable to you, are things like bad habits and addictions, changing your state, getting high, drinking, right? It makes you flee from being yourself, those feelings of who you are. The saying I love here is it's not the thing, it's the thing behind the thing, okay? So it's not you escaping to video games that's bad, but why are we doing that? If it's because I got a couple hours to kill, I really enjoy this game, I have no problem with it, and I'm stoked on playing it, totally cool. But if it's, I feel this massive resistance towards building my business, and I'm afraid to really put myself out there, so instead of addressing that, I'm just gonna zone out and play this game because I'm tired. And that fear of putting myself out there and that resistance, of course that's zapping my energy because I'm in my fucking head all day. Dude, it's draining being me. I'm in my head all day. I'm overthinking everything I say, every conversation. I'm passing through this filter. Who wouldn't be tired? And so we escape. Instead of addressing that, we escape to what's easy. Watching TV, scrolling, playing a game. You won't fix your problem by running from it. You'll just get better at running. It's still gonna be there. And one day you're gonna have to either let it get so bad so you have like a rock bottom moment, and you're like, dude, I'm so fed up with this, enough. Or when you give up the escapism, you're left with dealing with the thing behind the thing. You know, I have a buddy who helps men overcome their adult website addictions. Hopefully you know what I'm picking up what I'm putting down here. I don't want to get this demonetized. And time again, he's like, dude, it's not even the sexual component of it, why people are doing it habitually. It's, I want to feel validated. I got rejected by this girl I was talking to, and I want to feel like I'm not a reject. I need some excitement. This is exciting. I mean, we call it arousing, right? Connection to yourself. So you see, it's not the thing, it's the thing behind the thing. And when we're just approaching this from a purely logical habit standpoint of, just put your phone in the other room and just install a blocker on, like, that doesn't get to the root of why we're self-sabotaging, okay? And so in getting to the root, you're able to do the inner work of why am I self-sabotaging in the first place? Now we're getting somewhere. So if you relate to any of this in this first point, the question you're gonna dig down and answer is the following. What am I avoiding? I want you this Saturday to go to a coffee shop, take your journal, blank page it, and just write that question. Write all 4 of these and see what comes up for you. Give yourself 30 minutes. You will get so much growth from just doing that, fully concentrated, locked in. What am I avoiding? And don't make anything wrong here. Don't use this as ammunition to self-attack and be like, see, you're fundamentally broken and other people, we're not doing that, okay? What am I avoiding? What has been true for me is that addictions and bad habits often aren't about seeking pleasure. They're about avoiding pain. What are you avoiding? Well, there's your answer. And when you solve that, you're taking the park and brake off, and you will stop that self-sabotage behavior. We good with number 1? Spent a lot of time there, but that's super important. All right, moving on to number 2. Let me look at what it is. Oof. All right, this one's good. The second self-sabotage behavior is freezing. All right, you're freezing in life. This is often analysis paralysis, right? Analyzing every single thing and trying to make the right choice. Being so afraid to make a mistake that you don't make a decision. Overthinking, being a perfectionist, which is just a fancy word for fear. It's a high achiever's word for fear. Is, I'm a perfectionist. Well, no, you just gave yourself a label. You label this social anxiety. And you're like, well, I don't know what to say. That's not true at all. You've been talking your whole life. You have conversations with people where you just let it rip and there's no filter. And you're just your true self. And what that really means is that you're just unguarded. Right? You're comfortable. Because when you're comfortable, that comes out. That's why people, going back to our drinking conversation, a few drinks, the guard's down, they're their true self. So what this is really saying is I don't know what to say to get them to like me. I don't know what to say to look impressive. That's where social anxiety often comes from. I gotta get it right. I gotta say the right thing. Well, that's a lot of pressure. And man, let me tell you, related to this, you wanna confront these fears, just start a business, start posting publicly, because all of these will come up for you. For me, this was a twofold thing. It was a fear of being misunderstood, like I was in childhood or school. I was a misunderstood kid, and I felt like if they just really knew where I was coming from and didn't assume things, they wouldn't see me that way. Well, I mean, I brought it on myself too, because the other angle is the need to perform as a kid, to get attention. That was my currency. I was like, attention, attention, look at me. Because if I was invisible, it was like I was nothing. And so that together creates this really, you put that in a blender and it's a smoothie of just intensity and gotta get it right and this like stiffness that sucks the fun and robs everything away. And when you're stiff, you're frozen. That's what it is. I'm stiff, I'm frozen, I'm like this. And that's what anxiety does. That's what overthinking does. It traps you in your head. And there's that saying, if you're in your head, you're dead. You might as well be, because you're just sitting there stiff, frozen, like paralysis. You're missing out on life. Like, you're supposed to be in it. You're supposed to be making mistakes. You're supposed to be f***ing up, because that's how you learn. You're a participant. You're not a spectator. All right, living life, your life is not a spectator sport. Well, I might fail. Good, I hope you fail more. You'll learn more from your failures than you do your successes. Succeeding all the time is boring. It's like throwing a Game Shark on your Game Boy back in the day, right? And you're just like, yeah, that gets old so fast. Most people don't fail because they try and mess up. People fail because they never start. Because at the end of your life, you regret not what you did, you regret what you didn't do. That's where your regrets come from. I should have blank. I should have ordered that.
Dylan, that looks really good. I should have got that.
I'm joking.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
This question. What if the only way for you to succeed was to look stupid at first? What if you could only succeed by looking cringe? What if the fear of cringe is what's holding you back in life, and embracing looking cringe or looking not your best or royally failing and screwing it up, that's your path right there. That's the 2.0 you, that's your growth. Because I promise you that's where it is. As painful as, I'm always like, no, I can prep and look cool. That's your path right there. You wanna get good at something, you gotta get comfortable being bad at it first. This doesn't mean you have to publicly, look bad all the time. But what if the only way to succeed was to look stupid first? Is this useful so far? All right, you're liking it, hopefully. Before I give you the next two, we do have a free newsletter that if you put in your email, it'll get sent to you every Saturday from yours truly, with more tips like this and quick wins that you can do to change your life. I'll link that down below. It's Refusing to Settle. It's our free newsletter, and it's coming to you this Saturday. What is the next one? Guess what this is? We went over flee, freeze, fights. Self-sabotaging yourself through anger, if you're constantly debating things in your head. Mostly this will show up as negativity. Like anger, you could self-sabotage through physical violence, sure. But also like this fighting is what I really want you to tap into, like resisting things. I'm angry at myself, or I have a lot of shame at myself, which is normally why we're angry. Those go hand in hand a lot of times. Revenge, proving people wrong, retaliation, that's the sabotage. I guess you can rise to the top and be very successful with this pattern running, but it's not gonna make you fulfilled or happy, because you're always doing this thing for someone else or for someone's validation, right? To prove something to someone who didn't believe in you. And oftentimes the satisfaction you think you're gonna get from that person, they're never gonna care. They're probably never even gonna know. You can be angry towards a group, and this is how it shows up a lot of times for people. All women are blank. All Trump supporters are blank. All people from this country are, fill in the blank. That's anger at the core. That's what it is. Hate for a group or hate for anyone at that level, especially people you don't even know, that's just pain that hasn't been processed. But then there's constructive anger, and there's really benefits to it. I've spoken about the vibrations chart. That could be a whole other video, and it often is. But at the very bottom, you have emotions like shame, guilt, fear, and then you notice that anger is above those. So if you're in one of those low vibration states, a lot of times we get angry and we want to fight, because that's our way of raising ourselves up, of raising the vibration. So anger can actually be a very constructive force to get you moving and taking action. And it's totally normal if you at the start are motivated because you're angry at something, someone. I just personally don't think you're supposed to stay there. You get moving, and then your anger will transmute into a higher goal, or maybe you have a better vision for something or your life. And in that way, you kind of work yourself up, if that makes sense. This question is my personal favorite. Like when I did it, I was like, nothing's gonna come up. I bet I don't have anything there. And I wrote like half a page. Who am I angry at? Who are you angry at? And again, we're not making this good, bad, right, wrong. It's neutral. Who you're angry at, see what comes up, and learn about what's going on the inside. The last one here, can you guess what it is? Fold. This is to do nothing, to just give up. Hopelessness. It's really what it is. That's a self-sabotage mechanism where it just slips down. We can fight, flee, freeze, or we can just fold, surrender, and be like, yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter anyway. Danger's happening in the wild. It's just laying down, yeah, eat me, take me, I don't care. I'm not trying to minimize this because I've felt this at life many times. Depression, right? Why bother? Apathy. And this has a scale, obviously, of minor, mild, extreme. So wherever you are, it's a different conversation. But it's essentially just hopelessness, a loss of hope. Nothing's gonna change, why bother? My life is bleak. There's something called the depression triad. Essentially what it is. My life is bleak, I can't do anything about it, and it's not gonna change, right? And at the core of that is hopelessness. But what I get so inspired by are the stories where people just turn around like 20, 30 years of bad behavior, of like throwing away their life in such a short period of time. My buddy in my band, he's shared this story publicly, and he's proud of it, as he should be, but he was like not the best person, for 20 years, was like a 2-bottle-a-day alcoholic and didn't really have a lot going for him. And then overnight just got so fed up and said, what am I doing? Like, no, I'm gonna live. I'm done with this. He turned his life around in like 12 months. He is crushing it now. He's married, he has a job, he's crushing it there. He has his own house. In 12 months, he went from rock bottom, completely crushing it, and only up from there. I'll talk on the phone with him. He's one of my best friends. And the theme comes up over and over again. It's like, yeah, it doesn't take 10 years to turn your life around. It takes one moment where you've had enough. What feels or has the most energy for me right now? What's the goal? What's the thing in your life that you're most excited by? I view excitement as like this North Star that you can pursue, where your life force comes alive. And it is amazing how one idea, one story, one win in this, one glimmer of hope here can just be the spark that ignites everything. I don't think you lack motivation, you lack vision. And when you get excited, it lights you up. I mean, like think about being in a low state and then falling in love, right? That's the type of energy, like a lightning bolt hits you and boom, everything's better. The foods taste better. You feel more alive. You have more energy instantly. You're really excited about that. I feel like ideas can make you fall in love with life. Not to be cheesy here, but I've had times where I was low and uninspired, and then all of a sudden I just have a vision for like a product I want to build, or videos, or the next level of evolution personally in my life. And it gets you amped, it gets you excited. You fall in love with yourself and life again. So what has the most energy for you? And this can just be a little thing. It doesn't have to be massive, like I'm ending world hunger and beating malaria as a side project. Oftentimes we set these big grandiose visions and we think we need this humongous purpose in life, and it's so intimidating, or it's so vague, or it's so altruistic. And a lot of our behaviors, like you would serve more people if you served yourself first, got really successful, and then had more resources to give to others. All right, that's what I believe fundamentally. But yeah, read biographies, read inspiring people, light yourself on fire, and dig down to what excites you. That's your spark. So let's review. Self-sabotage is a loop, and once you see the loop, you can break the cycle. It's a loop of where you do fine, and then something sucks you down, so you overcompensate, and then you get sucked down again, over, down, over, which nets you out to zero. And the four most common ways you self-sabotage that are pulling you back, like a emergency brake while you're trying to drive, are fleeing, so escapism, addictions, bad habits. Freezing, being in your head, overthinking, thinking you have to be perfect. Fighting, being angry, feeling righteous, feeling like, oh, I gotta prove something to people, or that shouldn't have happened, getting stuck in your past. Or folding. There's no hope. Nothing I do matters, and it's not gonna change. Those are 4 self-sabotage patterns that you have to recognize. and 4 questions you can use to overcome them. What am I avoiding? What if the only way to get success was to look bad at first? What or who am I angry at that's still unresolved? And lastly, what feels like it has a spark to it? What's got the most energy? What lights me up just for now? Smash that like button if you made it to the end. Love ya. Drop a comment if this was useful and what question was most useful or what concept here. And if this has showed up for you and you want to share a story, comment section's all yours. I love reading those. So love ya. Thank you. See you in the next one. Stop settling, start living. Peace.